Hello, I'm Dave.
Hello, I'm Dylan.
And together we are D&D. Hello and welcome to my ambulance to camper video. As you can see in the background, this was a 5-ton ex-NHS frontline ambulance. It was bought straight out of the NHS service. It had 430,000 miles on the clock, and when I got the service history off it, I found that it just had its third brand new engine, and it was absolutely gleaming when I bought it, so I was quite happy that the engine was going to be okay, and the upkeep of them is second to none as well. So it's quite a good idea buying an ambulance if you're going to be confident that you'll be able to work on it in the future. And of course you have to have a C1 license because of its weight, and that does put some people off, because if you've passed your test after 1997, you then have to take an extra test for a C1 class, and being 5 tons, that will give you, a C1 class will give you up to 7.5 ton. So there's always that to bear in mind. Anyway, I'll walk you around the outside, and then later on we'll go inside and have a look around there. So anyway, the front's all bog standard. Don't worry about the paint work at the moment. I'll go into that a little bit later for you. So looking at it from the side, I've actually kept all the body exactly how it was originally. So where the cupboard doors are, they were always there, and they all serve a purpose as a cupboard. There's also cupboards around the bottom, little access doors on the front, and they've all got stuff in, made use of every available space. And so if we come along to my trusty cameraman here, this one used to be a slightly bigger cupboard than it is now, but half of that is taken up by the oven which is inside. So on the outside half, I've just got, it's a bit of a mishmash of everything really. There's a 4th battery there, that's working on its own bank, and that's like battery bank number 3. Underneath in here is the main battery bank. There's 3 12-volt batteries in parallel, and they provide all the power that I need for the back. They're charged off 2 solar panels system. I'll go through that in a later date. Okay, so I've got a toolkit and other bits and pieces in here, and also there's a original light that comes on when it's night time. So that's that one. That's the access door to the saloon. We'll go in there later. This one, this cupboard at the back here, I've actually kept that very shallow because I thought that would make an ideal ski cupboard. I've put a step ladder there at the moment because I just wanted to put something there, and it is actually quite useful, but if we go skiing we won't need that, and the skis will stand up in there. On the door I've mounted all sorts of different poles and things like that. These poles are for the safari room that operates when I pull out the awning, which is up there. I think that's a 3.2 metre awning, and once that's wound out, that provides ample shade and that sort of thing in the summer. But if we want an extra room, I attach the safari room side panels to it, and it becomes a room in its own right. The clips, if you want to clip it onto the side of the vehicle, instead of having the poles vertically, they will clip in there. And the reason I put those that height was so that when the awning's out at its appropriate size, then those rails, they actually run parallel or horizontal to the ground. So we can use those if we want for hanging our wetsuits on and things like that, you sort of summertime activity stuff. We can use those as hanging rails. And then this one here, that's you might recognise that, anyone that knows their ambulances, but that's an oxygen access point, and I've converted it, fitted it to the outside, and now that supplies the LPG for the outdoor barbecue. Round back, you'll notice that I've done quite a lot really to the back. We got rid of the ramp, we got rid of the door, and that left a great big gaping hole, which I filled in with timber panel, and then it's clad in aluminium, so all that's aluminium, and it's insulated on the inside. There's another panel, so it's a good solid sandwich of panel covering the whole back up. And I've fitted these rails, which is where they cover the join between the new panel and the original vehicle, and make a good seal. That is the cassette toilet, and that's the Carver water heater outlet. That is the inlet for the underslung water tank, which started off as a 40 litre. There's ample room under there because when I removed the ramp, the cross members and everything that came out with it left a lovely big space, ideal for the water tank. So I put a nice insulated one in there. The insulation is 2 inches thick all the way around, so it probably won't work in ultra freezing conditions, but I hope to go skiing in it, and touch wood, it won't freeze up. And this rail here, this rear bumper, it actually slides out. I built it so it will slide out, and there's another rack that goes on the top for the motorbike, so we can put a motorbike or a scooter on there, depending on if we need it or not. I've had to put these little rollers on the back, because when it is out this far, it's quite a long overhang from the back wheels, and I was worried about it grounding out. So if I take it easy on the ramp that goes onto the ferry, that's usually the steepest ramp you're going to go up, so they would ground out, I expect, and have to roll up it. And then to get onto the roof, I've built a ladder and a roof rack all the way around, or roof rails really, out of the key clamp, 27mm key clamp, and that is galvanised steel, so it shouldn't rust. These are aluminium, and this is galvanised steel. There's not a lot of difference in colour at the moment. This will probably tarnish down, whereas that won't. And then I've just got these little feet pedals to get to the ladder. So what happens is, when we've got the motorbike on there, the ladder would have been in the way, so I could only take the ladder down that far. And then lights wise, they're the original lights. I've had to rebuild this back panel as well, and I made that, which was the step area, into a cupboard, so it's like a little access cupboard. Okay, and then in this cupboard, this is like the plant room, as it were. I've got the gas bottles at the front, and they are controlled by this little changeover unit here. Don't know if you can see that in there, but that's the old oxygen supply control, which was inside, and I've adapted it to operate the 2 bottles of gas. And then behind that panel is all the water supply, the pump, filters, and everything like that. And then just up in the corner there, if you can get an angle of it, that's all the gas supply. So from here goes up to there, and then that's the manifold, and you can turn everything on and off at that point. Okay, so you can isolate anything. Oh, and just in the other side here, I fitted one of these little sort of outdoor shower spray hose things, and it's quite handy just for washing off things when you're outside, keep the sand out and that sort of thing. Or if you've got a bicycle, you've been in the mud, it's ideal for that. Then along the bottom again, there's 3 underfloor storage lockers. They're all used for various things. That's got the Spasher heater behind it, so there's nothing else in there. And then that one and that one, I've got certain stuff for outdoor use. That window, I fitted that's out of a Land Rover Defender 110. There was a pair of those I bought, and I've fitted one and I sold the other one. So somebody else has got that. And then these 2 vents and that little one, they're for the fridge that's on the opposite side inside. And then down here we've got the Cosmo plug-in, and that's actually the original one was the yellow version, which is 110 volt. So wherever it came from, they were only plugging in 110 volt, whereas I wanted 240. So what I did, I just managed to pick one of those up and swapped it over. And what happens is, when that's plugged in there, the power goes in there and it diverts directly to the battery charger, which is a 3-bank battery charger. So that actually charges the 3 banks of batteries individually and monitors them all individually, which is dead handy. And then it goes to the consumer unit, which is in there as well. So that all works fine. Now I'm going to talk about the paint job now. I've had this vehicle about 2 years, and been working on it on and off weekends and spare time for a couple of years really. And the last phase was to repaint it. Now that got done in November of last year, and I took 2 weeks off work thinking it would be about a 2-week job. Anyway, it turned out to be 3 weeks worth of work, but I had to do it in the 2 weeks, so it was a big job, much bigger than I anticipated. What I'll do, I'll show you some stills of that. I'll try and merge them into the video, and you can see sort of the processes that went through in order to get it to this finish. And basically what I wanted was something that was a bit quirky and unique, that there won't be another one like it anywhere in the world. And I've got a Thai partner, and she came up with the idea of the elephants, and because they're Thailand's national symbol is the elephant, and I wanted this sort of colour scheme, so we worked on it all together and came up with what we have here. And over the cab I've used their lotus flower symbol, which is over the front windscreen at the top there, and so that's how we came up with the design really between us. Use the Thailand theme. Right. Okay, so after a few weeks of hard work on it's finally in the workshop ready for spraying, It's all been washed off and thoroughly rubbed down. The first was the acid etch primer that went on. That I did the whole body in that, and then after the, 2 coats of primer, which was white, and then I painted the black in all the way around, and then I put the green on. Then that I taped all that up and put the gold on. So there's been 3 coats of colour over the whole vehicle, and then 3 coats of lacquer as well. That took the full fortnight to do, and then brought it outside, left for a couple of weeks to harden, and then there was some more hard work, all the rubbing down, and had to get that done. The graphics were booked in to be fitted on, so I just managed to get the area that the graphics were being done first. Hello, Durham, what are you doing?
Polish the van. Got a van, the camper?
Yeah. Undo the top now because I've done all that area ready for those stickers to go on. But I didn't do any of that area, so I've got all that to do, all above waist height. And the bonnet. Oh, she's gone. Oh. With a final wash, it was ready to hit the road. Right, okay, so it's now time to take a look inside. Right, I'll just quickly spin round so you get an idea of the layout, and then I'll explain most of it to you in due course. Right, so I'll just close this door, and the good thing about it is that when you close the door the step goes up. So that's that, we're all in now. Okay, at the front I've installed a roller shutter, electric roller shutter, and that's very handy for when we're you know, going to sleep in the back and we want security. Wait for that to go up. Right, so we're in the front now, and it's basically a Sprinter layout. I've added extra things as I like my gadgets, so I've got a CB radio, a PA with siren. Obviously can't use that unless you're off the public highway. Got a Chinese 2-DIN media centre, and it's also got, I've rigged it up to have a camera facing the back, into the back, just in case I ever want to see if there's a disaster, I'm going along and something falls over or something like that. And also we've still got the PA system, not PA, I mean intercom system set up, so if I'm in the front and somebody's in the back and they want to communicate with me, then we've still got all the ambulance communication system in place, which is, haven't needed it yet, but you never know. Right, so that's that. I fitted these extra USB socket and a cigarette socket. So the cigarette socket, USB socket, and that's in there for safekeeping, I think. And I've done the same that side, because with all these gadgets we always need to plug something in, and it's easier to have the wire going direct to the thing as close as possible. Okay, I've just got a compass on the front, which is dead handy. That's my reversing camera. I've got 2 cameras on the back. One looks straight out to view traffic, and the other one points down. I think it will come on. Yeah, there we go. Right, so that's pointing down now, so I can see my reversing up tight to things. Okay, going up above the windscreen, in the middle, Carnation Phoenix system. That's still wired up, so it all works. And then going down 2 seats, the driver's got a little tuck box for his drinks and sandwiches while driving. And then underneath the storage box, it's quite strong, it's on it, and it brings the floor level up to the same in the saloon. And I store the maps currently. Then looking over behind the passenger seat, I've got the Trex 1000 watt inverter that came with the ambulance. I just moved it to there. Room anywhere else for it really, so I've got it vertically mounted. Underneath the passenger seat that's all full of electrics. Underneath the driver's seat is full of electric, and sitting on top of it I've managed to fit the 3-bank battery charger, which shoehorned in, and then that is the 2 switchover unit between the inverter and the mains when I'm on, so I can't blow up the inverter. And that is the small consumer unit which supplies the fuse in for mains, and then that's the Carnation Phoenix panel, which I switched round to face forwards, backwards, so I had to cut a hole in the panel. And lastly is the power pack that is always on hand just in case we need some power or anything like that. Okay, so we're up on the roof now, and I just wanted to show you what's up here really. There's 3 solar panels. The front one is 80 watts and that supplies power to recharge the vehicle battery only. The 2 100 watt panels behind that in the middle, they're charging the rear vehicle batteries, and there's 2 banks of batteries, so I've got a dual charge controller to charge both of those individually. And then I've got a folded up satellite dish which is fully automatic, came from Italy, and haven't really used it a lot actually, because the TV aerial on the front there, that's going through a little aerial amplifier that's in the cupboard below. That works fine in England. And then this big top box, this roof box, I've got all my outdoor stuff in there, like the picnic stuff and our wetsuits and boat and that sort of thing, blow up kayak. And then lastly, that's the top of the fan that's in the bathroom, and this is where I'm carrying the spare wheel at the moment. I've got to put some kind of circular panel disc or something inside on top of the wheel so it doesn't fill up with water when it rains. And that's the key clamp, 29mm or 27mm key clamp that goes round the rail, made a rail up to go all the way around the edge of the vehicle. So it goes all there. You can't see much of it going across there, but it is there. And the ladder attaches to that as well. So that's the roof for you. Well, that was so boring. I've never realised that. I never smile. I never made a video before, so it's the first time I've really watched myself. Anyway, I do apologise for my boring personality. Anyway, I promise I'll try harder in the next video. That's going to be about the inside, the living space, and how we got the design and everything else there. So hopefully, if you can bear it to watch me again in the next one, I'll try and smile a bit more or make the odd joke. Alright, thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.